We could just go for it. It's just
Oh my god, that is an excellent start.
it's just
Oh
funny
my
because
god.
like as soon as like we get into the podcast, we're just like, well, we can talk about Frank Ocean. It's just like, no, we
No, no, we're not going to
can't.
talk
We really
about.
can't.
We're not going to talk about. We can't even bring up the guy's name. We should have a moratorium because like every time we bring him up, it's just like, oh, this show's about him now.
Yeah,
Like the other,
he's
like
gonna
the
be banned.
yeah, it's another thing. Oh my god. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Purvis, how was your week?
Yes, sir. It was a decent week. I'm less stressed out about school.
Yeah.
Work is work. I'm giving less of a crap more recently, and I'm drinking with coworkers now. So
Oh my god.
it's
Well,
hard to complain.
you work at a bank. People drink there.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we both work at corporate offices, and you find out very quickly that they love to drink. That's all
They
they want
yeah,
to
they
do.
do.
Which, I mean, makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, they
It
do.
does make
Although I think my office might be significantly well, no, it's not less corporate. It's just trying to be less corporate.
sense. I was going to say, to be fair, I would say our career paths are very different. So I can see your place being a lot more rowdy than mine.
You have no idea. Oh my god. But yeah, no, I feel that. We
But yeah, how was your week?
oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's a weird ratio of like busy to stressful. Very busy, shockingly not stressful. Kind of enjoying my week. As busy as it is, like not having a bad time at all.
Right. As long as it's not both, then like
Yeah.
you can.
No, to be dead ass, as long as I'm not stressed, I'm happy. I don't care if I'm busy. I don't care if it's slow. As long as I ain't got stress, I'm fine.
No, yeah, I definitely feel that. It's funny. Like every time we talk about the weeks, I try to remember like what we talked about earlier throughout the week because like we actually do a lot of stuff outside of work, but we always bring up.
Yeah. Well, it's because we record during the week, and it's like that's what dominates your week. And also, like, I don't know. Right now, my life is like pretty boring outside of work. It's like, yeah, I played Horizon Forbidden West.
I mean, by all means, we can sit here and talk about games
We
because
can
I
sit
just
here and talk
finished
about games.
between. So I
Also, yeah.
mean,
Also, like, I am just trouncing folks in Halo. Like,
oh,
sometimes
you're still on the Halo bus. I feel like a lot of people fell off.
it comes in waves. I went like 3-4 weeks without playing it, and this week I'm just playing it again. And then like I'll probably play it for like 2 more weeks, and then I'll go 3-4 weeks without playing it. You know what I mean?
Right. No, that makes sense. It
Yeah,
goes in waves. I
yeah,
buy like a single player game. I play the crap out of it for like 2 or 3 weeks until I 100% it, and then I don't touch a controller for like another 2 or 3 weeks.
yeah. That's more or less how I am. Yeah, and I'm also reading a lot, and it's just like it's real relaxing. But like, man, it takes up a lot of time. Like, it's not something you can really do quickly.
Yeah, no, not at all. I was gonna say I'm not even gonna hold you to it. Besides a textbook by force because of school, I don't think I've read a book since like my junior year of high school.
You should read books, man. It's important for people to read books.
Yeah, I've been told, but
There's
here I am.
there's a reason why the default like utilization of human knowledge is a book. I 100% believe that like when you read something you take the time to comprehend it, you understand it better. But maybe that's just me. I don't know.
That's one way to think about it. I guess I just never really sat down and thought about it like that.
Yeah.
But like,
Oh,
I mean, it does make sense. You put a lot more effort into reading than just
yeah.
sitting on a couch and watching TV.
Yeah. I mean, I do watch a shit ton of TV.
Oh,
Yeah, like
wait,
I
good
watch a
conversation.
shit. What's up?
Have you started the Lakers show on HBO?
Yes, I have. I'm 2 episodes in.
Is it good? Okay,
It's
I have to watch.
fantastic.
I'm still
Fantastic.
catching up on Bel Air, which is fantastic.
I'm
Very,
really
very
loving
good.
Bel Air. I think Bel Air might be a topic that we get to eventually.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's very much worth it. I don't care if it has to do with music. Well, it has a lot of
I
hip hop
definitely
music in it.
it's certainly adjacent. Like
Yeah, I
it
was about to say
is.
it's pretty much along the same
I think that might be the conversation we have. Like, does it count as like part of hip hop culture because it's not music or graffiti or whatever?
thing. I would say it's still very much intertwined with sports, movies, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And speaking again, wow, I'm getting off topic right off the bat.
It doesn't
Who
matter.
cares?
It's a podcast. There's no such
I was
thing
about
as
to say,
topics.
who cares? Speaking of music aligning with sports, I don't know if you know, and I know you probably don't care as much, but Vanessa Bryant, Kobe's wife,
Mm-hmm.
or she just tweeted or Instagram, something like that, something on social media confirming that they're bringing Kobe's back. And this is a big deal. I cannot wait. I hope I get a pair of Kobe's. It will be freaking amazing
Oh, the
to add to my
shoes?
shoe collection. Yes, sir.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, I guess some new deal with Nike or whatever. Super hype. I cannot wait.
I want to,
I will buy as many as I can.
dude. I want to get back into sneakers, but like they need to get easier to get and not as expensive as they are.
This is very true.
Like
The
it
price
is.
point, I get used to it unless it's resale, then that's trash. But yeah, it's impossible to get these shoes.
I mean, I remember it was not too long ago that like you could just like walk into a Foot Locker, pay $120 and get like a pair of Jordan 1s that was like, basic ass colors, but like a pair of shoes.
Yeah, right. Again, you do have to take a step back and be like, these are literally a pair of shoes.
Yeah, it's like
it's not that serious.
Yeah, it's like look, I don't, but like I understand, I guess, why people go crazy over the super exclusive shit. I get that kind of, I guess. But
I will say this.
But like a black pair of Air Force Ones, like really, I gotta fucking bid on these. Like, what is going on? They're $200. What the fuck? Like,
okay, no, it definitely. I will say black Air Force Ones are maybe like $90. They'll run you $90 now. I think I picked up a pair, and I just keep them in my trunk just in case I forget shoes at home. Or forget shoes when I go out, I should say. But what I would say, since I've
Purvis
started to get
goes
back
to his
into
car
shoes,
big barefoot.
yeah, dude, I go out in slides. You know I wear slides everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've gotten really into shoes. I took a break. I'm trying to get back into it. I just got the Oreo Yeezys 350s. And then I just picked up the Gatorade Jordan 6s. I'm praying to God I get these Air Max 1s that are coming out on Air Max today. So, like, I've been fiending, and I'm starting to get back into it. And, like, I've experienced the high because I've had, like, off-white shoes. I've had shattered backboard shoes, and I've sold them both for a lot of money. I won't put the number on there. But it's definitely a thrill, and I cannot wait to get back into it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, probably in the back half of this year. I'm pinching pennies until my sister's wedding, but I want to get back into sneakers. I used to be. I have like one good pair of Jordans left, but I just ran through all of them because when I was in grad school, I was extra broke and.
Well, to be fair, that's what you do when you're kids.
Yeah.
Well, not kids, but younger, I should say.
Yeah. Well, when you don't have expendable income.
This is also true. We just picked up a lot more bills within the past 5 years of our existence.
Yeah. All right. Shall we?
Anyway.
Shall we get into the news? Now that we have.
I should say, going into this, we have made kind of a change, not even on purpose.
An editorial decision. That's what
Right.
media people call it. An editorial decision.
Sure, let's go with that. We will now be doing news on the music that's coming out after we record the podcast.
Yeah, that's what we've kind of decided. It kind of made sense. Like it was kind of like
it would make sense not to speak about music that we listened to the week before. Then it comes out like it was a whole like 10-day period where we talk about news, and then it's been out by the time we release the podcast. So we'll be talking about music that is coming out the week of the podcast.
Yeah. So we record now on Thursdays. So we have all the information for what drops on Friday for New Music Friday, and we edit and we distribute it on Sunday. So you'll be hearing about like all the stuff that dropped that week, the single lead-ins, everything that we can. And yeah, that has been our editorial decision of the week, is to make sure to talk about the albums that are coming out now.
When they're coming out.
Yeah, they come out now.
When you say it, it makes us think, what are we doing here? But anyway, we're getting it together.
Yes, we are. All right,
we should start off with the albums then.
We got new albums dropping this week. We got 4 that could possibly do numbers. We got Nigo's I Know Nigo. We got Denzel Curry, Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. We have Buddy, Super Ghetto, and Lotto, 777.
Okay. Where do you want to start?
Who is Nico? Who is this person? Because I've seen him. We've talked about his singles, the singles leading up to this album, a few times.
Yes.
You know? And hey, I even like some of them. The Pusha T one and the Kid Cudi one, I've been listening to pretty consistently.
I would say, like, I'm still trying to figure out, if I'm being honest. I was told that he's a producer at one point.
That's the vibe I'm
I was
getting.
told that, yeah, I was told that he is his own artist. I honestly have no idea.
Because, like, I've listened to that Kid Cudi Nigo song, Want It Bad, like, plenty. And I've been like, okay, I'm going to listen for this guy's verse. I probably just blank out whenever he gets on. And I'm like, no, he's not there. There's no one there.
He's literally not there.
And it's, but like that just gives me the sense, and especially because like the album list is so feature heavy. It just gives me the sense.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's like every song is a feature. Gives me the sense that it's a producer album. You know, it's like when Travis Barker or Metro Boomin make an album, and they just produce every track, and they have all these like every song is for a different artist, and those can be really good albums.
I was going to say there's a lot of good ones and a lot of bad ones. As long as we don't mention the DJ Khaled ones, we are in the safe zone.
Man,
because all of those are bad.
Yeah, all of them. There's one DJ Khaled song I really love, but like it came out.
I don't even know if I can say that.
I bet if you listen to the song, you'd like it. But it was like, this was 2011 DJ Khaled. I'm on one with Drake and.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is like years before he discovered We the Best. Years before.
Major Key.
Another
one.
This song was probably 7 years old when he started saying Major Key. Yeah, so it looks like it's a producer-centered album, and
it is.
Yeah,
I just looked into it,
and I think
bio on Spotify says DJ, hip hop producer, label owner. So it makes sense.
So I mean, I feel like I've already heard half the album, so like I'll probably be giving it a spin or two just because those could be fun. There's been plenty of producer albums that I listen to pretty consistently.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is. I would say. I'm very, very excited for this just because of the features alone. There's Two Tyler, the creator. There's A$AP Rocky. There's Pharrell Williams. There's Kid Cudi, A$AP Ferg, Pusha T, Pop Smoke, Lil Uzi Vert. All those names are extremely well known.
Yeah.
So I can't wait.
All right. Now, one of my golden boys, one of my very, very favorite little men, Denzel Curry. He's dropping Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. I know, we're just going to move past it. I'm hyped for this. I
actually am hyped too. I'm sorry. I just completely broke character. Carry on.
No, I just, every single for this, or at least the single he's been dropping recently, the one that came out this week, Troubles with T-Pain. Walkings, Itachi, liked all of them. Fucked with it all. So this will probably be the first album of the four that I listen to. I am anticipating listening to this album tomorrow. It is part of my day already planned.
I will say everything I've heard from him is amazing. It didn't click right away. It took a second to grow me. Like, if you actually listen to the lyrics, this man is he's insane. He's actually insane.
Oh, he's a lunatic. Which is crazy because, like, if you ever watch an interview with him, he comes across like probably the most well-adjusted of the SoundCloud guys.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like he certainly comes because like he talks about like I had like loving parents and like a stable household.
I've seen a lot of different interviews, mostly on that end, but every once in a while he comes out and says some like random stuff where he's like, "Oh, this is the crazy." It makes sense now.
Yeah, no. But I love the dude. I love the energy he puts out. I think he is so hype.
What did you say? We talked about this before on the podcast, and you texted me about it afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about, like, how... Go ahead.
Fuck. I know, like, the general thing.
We were basically saying, like, who would we compare him to or something? Or, like...
Oh, yeah. Like...
Who would you, like...
who would you introduce? To? Yeah. Basically, the idea was, like, if you... It's very hard to, like, find, like, a similar artist to recommend Denzel Curry. Like, for example, like, if someone was like, "Oh, I'm a big Kanye fan," like it's like, okay, well then you're probably gonna be a big fan of like
A lot of different
yeah,
people.
Childish Gambino or Pusha T for this reasons. It was very very hard to think of one for Denzel Curry. Like very very hard to be like, who is someone that like seems like a prime Denzel Curry fan? And the answer that I've realized is probably metalheads and like people who like aren't necessarily into rap. Because I think his just like, because not that he's not a great rapper, and I think he's like very well respected among his peers, but like just the energy he has, kind of like his whole ethos and aesthetic, I think it's very compatible with like a lot of what people look for in like metal as a subculture. And because like and it's important to note that like metal is like a subculture in a way, like in a very similar way to hip hop that like rock music, quote unquote, doesn't really have. You see what I mean? So that would be like the kind of person where like if you really wanted to give someone like a really good, really authentic, because like let's be real, like most metalheads are like, yeah, I like Eminem and that's it. Like if you wanted to give someone who's
still,
like very current, very with it, but like still appeals to like that kind of crowd, I would for sure recommend Denzel Curry.
right. I was gonna say as soon as you text me about this, because I think we talked about it days after the podcast. I kind of
It was
didn't
while I
record
was
it.
editing it that it hit me.
Right. With like as soon as you hit it to me, and it could just be like confidence bias, where like, oh, you're told something and it kind of reconfirms it, and like you start believing it even more. But even if it's not that, when you told me that, like as you know, I have a lot of like white friends, just who I grew up with in high school and stuff like that, and it's funny because one of them, like Sam, one of my best friends, he has a whole playlist called like an angst playlist. I listen to none of the music on the playlist because I just don't relate to it, but it's all like you said, it would be like heavy metal or like hip hop or like this dark music. And his favorite rapper, I think, is Denzel Curry. So it just obviously made sense.
Yeah, and
But
like
like a lot of my friends like that, they're one of their favorite rappers. They don't say it, but like they always hype and listen to Denzel Curry.
yeah, and it's interesting because like no one, I don't know many people in my life that like listen to Denzel Curry. That's
Yeah,
yeah, like I
I
just
know
don't.
a couple, but nope. I will say this:
I
I
know
know
some
people
people
that
who
listen to
fuck
him,
with
but I don't
him.
know people that talk about exactly.
I know
Right,
people who like if
like
you say like, "Oh, Denzel Curry," they'll
exactly
be like, "Oh, he's good."
right. But
Like
you're not gonna listen to him.
yeah, like my buddy Christian, shout out Gonzo, right? Like he saw Denzel in concert because he opened for Billie Eilish and Christian's weird. He was like, "Yo, Denzel is like the truth. He put on an amazing show," and I'm like, "I told you, man." But yeah, I think that's what's interesting about him, and I also think that's kind of the reputation he has because I remember he had
Oh
that
yeah,
very viral like a version covered where like people do covers of other people's songs, and he did a Rage Against the Machine song.
boy, is that fitting.
Yeah, and Rage Against the Machine, like it's a metal band, but like Zach De La Rocha is a rapper, and he
There
threw
you
his
go.
own verse into it. It was incredible, and like Rage Against the Machine is a very hard band to cover because it's very performance based. It's like the exact opposite of like like an R&B artist where like they're doing this complicated singing. It's like no, it's very simple lyrics, very simple singing, but you got to make people want to like burn up, like throw a Molotov cocktail in a
It's the
cop car.
delivery,
Yeah, it's all
right?
in the
It's the
delivery,
delivery.
all in the stage presence, and like I think that is like the thread you can draw from like heavy metal to Denzel Curry that I think people will fuck with. And it's not exclusive to him. And also like the weird, metal kind of being like the pale stepchild of like the pale cousin of hip hop in some ways. Like we're not the first people to talk about this. Public
Oh
Enemy
no,
and
no.
Anthrax were making music together before we were kids or
It,
before we
it's
were
interesting
born.
that you. Right, I was gonna say it's interesting that you brought that up because it's definitely like obviously this isn't the first time someone's talking about like metal, heavy metal transitioning over to rap. But I was just thinking in my free time, I was like, oh, we could do a segment on like artists that are good at transitioning music and like introducing people to music. But I just thought about like it's so much easier to say like, oh, hip hop transitioning to R&B because there's like 1,000 artists that do that.
Yeah, because there's
Or
like
like
and there's 1,000 hip hop songs that have like an R&B artist on the hook.
exactly.
You know,
in any other genre, just in general. And I was just going down the list. Like I even went as far as like gospel into hip hop. Like that would be Chance, sure, but that's about it. But
yeah.
like it's unique where Denzel Curry kind of stands on his own. We're like, really, there's no one else like him, and that's really beneficial to his career.
There's no one else like him that isn't like some sideshow that's completely irrelevant.
Yes,
You know, he's like a relevant figure in the culture.
he made it.
Yeah, he made it. He's respected, and he has that energy. And also, like, I 100% believe, I think I've heard it in interviews, that like Denzel Curry, like this is all stuff he like consciously puts into his music. Like Duke looks like a Hot Topic employee. All right, now tell me about this Buddy guy again, because we talked about this last week, but Super Ghetto is finally dropping.
Yes, it's finally dropping. Like I said last week, Buddy was really influential on Revenge of the Dreamers. But besides that, he has his own discography. He's very good, very new, up and rising from California, I believe. I actually meant to look up who is he signed to. Give me a second. While I look this up, another thing I actually want to bring up, it's funny because I know that you know who Buddy is, and I don't think you realize that. Because Buddy actually pops up in Bel Air, the show.
Oh, who is he?
Now remember, he is signed to RSA Records, a rising rapper from Compton, California. He was signed by Pharrell. He's done a lot of different collaborations. Like I said, he shows up in the show Bel Air. It's the scene where Will is in Jazz's like music shop, and this artist comes in, and it's funny because like I did the same thing. I
Oh, and
literally
he's like,
did the same thing. And he was like, "Oh, that's Buddy," and it's funny because I literally said that out loud. I was like, "Oh, that's Buddy," and then Will said, "Oh, that's Buddy," and then Buddy looks at him just like, "Oh, who the fuck are you?" But
wow,
yes,
I didn't
Buddy.
even catch it. Like where he's like looking for he's looking for something to flip really quick.
Yes,
That's
that's
very
Buddy.
good.
So now you know who he is.
Oh, cool.
But he makes dope music anyway, so I would definitely recommend. It is like I said, he's early in his career. No better time to jump on, check him out, see if you like him or not. If you don't, keep it pushing. If not, congrats, you found a new artist.
Yeah, I'll for sure be checking this album out, 100%. All right, last one, Lotto 777. Got to be honest, this person is new to me. Been seeing them everywhere, so it looks like they're having a very organic rise. That's cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to be honest, I'm in the same boat. I don't know a lot about her. From what I've done for my research this week, she has been around for a decent amount of time, but like hasn't really been, I would say, popping off and successful. Like, no way is she at like Meg Stallion's level or something like that or popularity. But she's like apparently not new. I would say that.
Yeah.
The only thing that I know about this album so far is supposed to be like her second coming, I guess you can say. She was saying that she's grown a lot as a woman, and this is going to show in her new album. It's going to be different from the previous ones. Another reason I want to bring it up, because we're talking about just like Women's History Month in general. I think it really sucks the way that women are still treated in the industry. Apparently, there was an interview where she was saying one of the people featured on the album, and it's still on the album, apparently said they wasn't going to release the music until they slept with, or she slept with him.
Yeah, that's all
which really sucks.
That's all I know about the album was that controversy, which immediately puts me on Lotto's side, right? Like, which immediately,
100%, obviously.
You know, which is gonna get me to listen to the album just because, like, I want to root for the girl now because that's fuck, man.
Oh
like,
well, I just did some research, and it is Kodak Black. What did I say in the other podcast? If Kodak Black is your favorite anything, you're losing.
That is the most unsurprising thing that has ever happened. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, it's like the first thing. I went to her tweet about the album promoting it, and one of the first responses is like a video of him basically admitting to it. Yeah, that really sucks. That's disappointing.
Wow.
She was like, "I'm gonna keep it on the album because I like the song."
Wow. Fuck Kodak Black. I would legitimately try to get like his rights taken off the publishing so she gets all the money.
That is not a bad idea.
I would legitimately, like, if I was her, this is not legal advice. I am not a lawyer. But
Matter of fact, we're getting him killed tonight.
No, not that. Don't do that. This is Kodak Black here. But Lotto, I'm not a lawyer, but I would do that. I would talk to your lawyer about doing that. I'm sure he's very good. I'm sure you can afford a very nice lawyer. Get that money. Anyway, those are the
Yeah,
albums. So guess what? You're gonna have to tell me about these singles because I did not listen to one of them.
that is okay. And you know what the beautiful thing is?
Yeah,
Neither did I, because now we're talking about relevant music.
yeah.
um,
The stuff
First
all
off,
dropped like today.
oh yeah, for sure. Like this is either today, tonight, or tomorrow. Um, we decided to kind of mix in the singles and the music videos just because, like, in reality, I struggle finding music videos throughout the week. It's honestly not that many that comes out throughout the week that's mentionable. So I'll just jump into it. The first one is the song "Come On, Let's Go," who has Tyler the Creator and Pharrell in it. This is one of the songs that's going to be on Nico's album. So I wanted to
Okay.
point that out. No one, like, you can't get enough of Tyler. He's at the peak of his career. He's had two peaks, in my opinion. So
He's
it's just really dope.
certainly he certainly has had two waves. He has like pre and post Cherry Bomb.
Yep. And I don't know how he did it. I don't know any other artist that really has two peaks, but I guess that's a different conversation for another
Kanye.
time. I guess that's true. Yeah. The
Yeah.
very elite people.
Yeah. No, Tyler
We're so
is
close.
one of them. He
Yeah.
is one of the greats right now. Which is crazy
Um,
because I was not into. Maybe I was a little too old when Odd Future hit, but
really?
I mean I was like 19, 20. But like the only Odd Future. I mean I like Tyler like now, but like I did not fuck with his earlier music that much. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't really my thing.
I actually thought about this in the past before, and I don't think I brought it up to you, but I feel like Out of Future is one of those very rare groups where a lot of, I won't say everybody, obviously, but a lot of people that I discuss Odd Future about with, like, they don't like the group, but they love the people in it. Like, individually, Earl Sweatshirt, phenomenal. Frank Ocean, we open up the podcast with this. We don't need to open up a can of Frank Ocean. Tyler the Creator, just all the artists that came out of Odd Future, and even the careers. Taco had an amazing career in acting, and got the other dude's name. He was just in
Man, do you remember Loiter
a
Squad?
Jackass movie. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like all of them individually have had amazing careers, but I feel like anytime I've seen like or had a conversation about this, it's like, oh, do you listen to Odd Future? Like as a collective, and it's just like it's not the same.
Yeah, I mean the Odd Future albums are good. Like those like collective albums, they're pretty good. Oldie's a really good song, but like
That's literally it. Exactly. Everyone says oldie, and
yeah,
then that's it.
but yeah, like
Not that it's bad, but yeah.
that's just kind of in me, and I think we're gonna move on the second after I finish the sentence because this is a topic for another day. But I do think it's interesting to compare and contrast Odd Future and Brockhampton because they're like opposites, but also the exact same. Like,
Yeah, I'm about to say we plan on doing the broadcast
yeah, I think we're gonna do a whole Brockhampton episode.
podcast,
Yeah,
which is very worthy.
yeah,
So we can bring it up there, and then we can bring up like ASAP Mob. We can bring up all the groups.
yeah, yeah. I just think those two have the most in common.
I would agree.
Yeah. All right. So,
Yeah, anyway.
Little Skies, play this at my funeral. Why would I want to do that?
Do you know who Little Skies is?
No,
I'm just curious.
I'm gonna get canceled, aren't I? I feel like
No, not at all.
I feel like I've seen them on like show up on my thing, but I would not doubt I've listened to them before, but I'm kind of unaware. No.
What I would say, it's not a group. It's actually just one person. Um, Little Skies. I jumped on Little Skies. The album called Life with Dark Rose. He is 100% a SoundCloud rapper. Um, I think that one album is amazing and it has really good beats. And it's not something that like you need to overly analyze. But since then, I haven't really been listening to them that much.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to jump back into it. But definitely one of those new SoundCloud people. So
Okay.
I would keep your ears open to it just in case.
Yeah. I'm
And there's a music video coming out.
once again, like I am certain that I have heard them in something. All right. Now, who is this gentleman? This Chance the Rapper? That's a silly name. Yeah, who's this guy?
Brandon. I I don't think you realize how excited I am.
Oh my god, it's called Child of God.
I know.
Yeah,
I
this
know.
is you're the Batman.
Actually, though, it's funny. I think it was Monday. Monday, it was like 70 degrees out or something.
Yeah,
After work, I'm tired as can be. And even still, I got home. I was home for 2 minutes. I went back outside. I went to the park to study, and I just blasted the Chance playlist we made for the first podcast. I cannot tell you how hype I am. Brandon, if this is not good,
I would watch out. I would not. I would quarantine because Purvis is gonna go crazy and it's gonna be in public.
but yeah, I'm just hoping. From what I've heard, it sounds good. I'm just hoping that it's good.
Is this the out? Is this a song he's been teasing the last like couple weeks?
Yes, yes, this is a song he's been teasing. I think there's a music video to it. I'm not entirely sure. It's some collaboration with some group or organization group, something that I just found called Revolt. Apparently, they're very influential within the black community. So maybe I'll get canceled for not knowing what they are. But anyway, it's some kind of collaboration with an artist. Something released last night that I missed. I don't know if it's a music video. I don't know if it's some kind of like art exhibit that he's been posting about at art exhibit downtown. I don't know I don't know what's going on. I'm excited. I'm ready for it to happen. That's
Yeah.
all I know.
Oh my god, I hope it's Chance season because last Chance season was like.
Jeez.
If we're comparing Chance seasons to like hurricane seasons, the last Chance season was like Katrina. It was bad. It was not good. It was a very bad Chance season.
Yes.
But I'm rooting for him, and I think he's gonna be good. And the snippets I've heard were
They sound pretty good.
yeah, they were at like every lyric I've heard from this song is better than any lyric on the Big Day. I'm gonna keep and like I'm not joking. This is not for the laughs.
I know. I know. I'm laughing through my pain.
It's also better than any lyric on Certified Lover Boy. Anyway,
Okay. Anyway,
so
the next song,
Summer
yeah,
Walker is releasing No Love Extended.
it is featuring SZA and Cardi B. This is about to be
Wow,
a major song
this
for.
is gonna be the most listened to song. I think it's
Oh yeah,
hilarious how like we'll sit here analyzing music for like hours and hours and hours, and like a song intended for girls with female artists gonna outsell it 20-1. Not even anything
oh
we
yeah,
like.
oh for sure, no
Yeah, and
question.
it's just
Like this
this
is
is gonna
gonna be.
be a huge song.
I plan on singing this song in at least 5 stories in the next week.
This is gonna be oh my god! Imagine the Instagram captions. Just
Bro, Summer
imagine.
Walker, SZA, and Cardi B. This is dangerous.
It's not good. It's not good.
The
We are
boys are gonna be down bad.
we're gonna be down.
Why can't we get stuff like this, bro?
We,
No, I'm just playing.
yeah, it's
I'm
not
really
like
joking.
it's not like we got the entirety of the genre. It's like, what do you mean? You guys have
It's like
Pusha
we.
T.
It's not like we have tens of thousands of collaborations in music.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
anyway,
100%.
super nice. Super right.
Oh
We're
my,
getting canceled for that.
yeah, we are.
But
Okay,
anyway, moving
so
on.
moving the fuck on. Uh, so Kid Cudi is apparently threatening some songs.
Bruh, this is hype. I don't even know what to expect. He literally just posted this today.
I have no idea. Look, Kid Cudi keeps me guessing, man. Like I'm a fan of the man. He's top 3 rapper for me, but you never know with him. Like, is this going to be Speeding Bullet to Heaven? Is this going to be Man on the Moon? Is it going to be Kids See Ghost? Is it going to be Wizard? Is it going to
It's a
be
very different,
a
a lot
small
of
part
different
in a Need
options.
for Speed movie? What? Who knows? Like,
Honestly, yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
You one off collab with Travis Scott, one off collab with
yeah.
Eminem.
But I will say, like he is on a good streak. I can't remember I can't remember the last time I heard a Kid Cudi song and I was like, nah. Like even the song he has with Nigo that we were talking about, like I like
Which
that
is going
song.
to be on the album.
Yeah, I like that song. Like
And that's a grow on me. But yeah, it is a good song.
yeah. So I'm excited to hear that. I'm sure we'll probably chat about it a little bit next week.
I would ask then, do you want it to be a drinking song or a smoking song? Because there is a difference and Kid Cudi can't do both.
Uh, I don't know. I don't really think about songs like that. Like, cause like to me, every song's a smoking song and also a drinking song. Like,
Okay, okay, let me rephrase that then. Is this gonna be a chill song or a hype song?
I don't know. Probably
Like
one of
a
both.
chill,
Like,
lay down, vibing by yourself kind of
yeah, a
music.
drinking
Like,
song,
do
right?
you want a do you want a party song at a club?
Yeah, like a weed song. Because you have to smoke so much weed to like get over your social anxiety to do that.
It doesn't help when you do both.
Yeah, like.
All right, bro. It's never mind.
Sorry, look. Never say I'm not being the 100% real me.
I guess that's true. I was trying to give you options, but
It's like I don't know, man. For me, both of them are going to be both. Like it's just going to be the way it is.
At the end of the day, we're gonna have a Kid Cudi song.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
It's like, wait, you do something other than both of them when you're listening to Kid
You're telling me you sit here and listen to music sober? It's like, yes, Brandon.
Wait, you're telling me you sit here and listen to music on one substance? Only one. What is this? High school? Like, oh my god.
But anyway.
All right, but those are the singles coming out.
On.
Jesus Christ, this is a shit show. This is either our worst or best show. I don't know which.
We'll determine by the views. They're either gonna listen to it and be like, "These people are idiots," and laugh at it, or turn it off.
I don't care. If you're still here, we love you so much. Anyway, so
facts. Moving on to the actual news.
All right, the news.
This one, you go first.
All right, this one. You know about? Yeah, no, this one took the world kind of by storm, and that is one. Mr. T, Pusha T. He dropped a diss track, and keep in mind, this guy probably put out the best diss track.
I was going to say his last diss track was
The Life of Adelon, like destroyed Drake's life.
And man, was that a diss track?
Yeah, like dude's vicious, right? So when I saw
Drake had a son,
yeah, he ruined a family, like so. He put out a diss track to McDonald's on behalf of Arby's.
How would Pusha T do this?
Because he was paid a lot of money by an ad agency.
So how do you feel about that? You're in this career. You know more about this to me.
So
one thing I heard, he got paid $500K for a 19-year slogan that's still going on. I'm loving it. Well, Justin Timberlake, made $6 million from this. I call racist, but I won't dive into that hole.
Hold up.
What do you say?
So, I think what's interesting is because I work at a company that is very closely related to the company that did the I'm loving it slogan, right? And as far as I know, those figures are legit. And yeah, that's racist. Like, that's just what that is. But, like,
thank you.
The advertising industry has been racist. Like, for a long time, it is unsurprising. However,
I was going to say that's not surprising.
Part of that is folklore, though. And the part that's folklore is the idea that, like, Pusha T wrote that for Justin Timberlake. I am unaware of the exact part of, like, what Pusha T did, but that bot thing, like the recording of Justin Timberlake doing that, was before Pusha T wrote the rest of the jingle.
Ah.
Right? So, like, the disparity and the level of work and the fact that Pusha T's work is still in part of the McDonald's branding, that's all true. But just, like, the way people have mythologized it a little bit. As far as I understand, like I wasn't in the room. I've been in the industry for 2 years. This was 20 years ago, right? But as far as I understand, yes, Pusha T wrote a lot of the audio branding for that campaign, the I'm Loving It stuff. But that specific Justin Timberlake thing was previous to his work. That was like what they gave him, and then he filled out the rest.
Okay.
Yeah, but that the pay discrepancy issue though is as far as I know, once again, is 100% real.
That is just terrible.
It's fucked up, and I believe that because it wasn't just him; it was him and his brother. It was Klipsch.
Yes.
So like that money was split between them.
Really, I thought it was each.
Was it? Once again, like
honestly, I don't know.
I've been so busy at work. I did like a little bit of research into it just to get the story straight because like it just wasn't that hard because everyone was talking about it. Right. But yeah, so like that is the disparity. The fact that Justin Timberlake made literally 12 times as much.
12 times.
To do less work, mind you. Like
I was gonna say, like he literally said like he came up with the little part and then
he came up with like the rest. Yeah, and Pusha T made the rest. Like the parts that are 100% accurate is that pay discrepancy and the fact that like Pusha T put in and his brother put in that's the guy I want to make sure doesn't get lost in this conversation. Yes. I forget his name, but the other guy in Klipsch. Yeah. But
you know what I'm curious about?
What?
I mean, obviously, yes, this is terrible, and yes, this is racism. I'm curious if McDonald's, because like you said, if Justin Timberlake made the blah 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 part, or whatever, the beginning part.
Yeah.
That's really all the parts that was played consistently over this 19-year slogan. I wonder if they literally are saying like, "Oh, we're not actually playing Pusha T's parts. We're not having to pay."
As far as I know, like it's like the music underneath the ba da ba ba ba, because like every time they play that, there's like music underneath it. That stuff was like done by Pusha T. So like, you don't hear one without the other. And there are other parts of like the music that he made that are still in use.
That is terrible.
Yeah. So no, there's that discrepancy is very, very real. And you know, I am happy. Like I have a bunch of very pithy things I could say about my agency. A compliment I'll give them is they put their money where their mouth is. They put their money where their mouth is when it comes to like hiring creatives of all colors, right? Specifically making a great push to hire a lot more Black creatives. So like that's the thing I'll say about my agency in this regard, because I think like that it's a conflict that's been going on in my industry for as long as I've been in it, and I'm just now starting to see like some tides change, and I'm happy that I work at a company that's like part of it. Yeah. All right, so tell me about this. Lyrical Lemonade is collabing with Simone High School.
Yeah, or Simeon.
Simeon, my God.
On the south side. That's literally the only reason I did this in. We talked about Lyrical Lemonade last week. It's just perfect timing. There's nothing too deep to go into. I just thought it was good timing where we were saying like, oh, like it's a really influential organization, regardless its leaders we may not agree with for whatever reason.
Yeah.
The organization is a pretty good platform and does a lot of good positive things for the community, even though I don't know if all the sales and proceeds are going to the high school. If it is, even better. But it's dope seeing stuff like this. They're having a collaboration with Simeon High School on the south side. Derrick Rose went there, which is a small detail, but it just kind of shows giving back to other kind of communities and things like that.
Wow, that's great. I mean, hell, I'm all for it. I love to see local shit stay local.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so biggest news of the week. Lollapalooza. Yeah. They dropped their what is it called? Lineup? That's what it is.
Yes.
Dropped the lineup. What do you think about it?
Doesn't do that. I have one thing to say about Lollapalooza.
What?
I got to take a deep breath. So I don't know, and it could just be a hot take, and there are a lot of positives and negatives that come with this. But I honestly think that having a music festival with all the genres is starting to negatively impact the experience. And hear me out. I do realize it is a good thing. It's a nice beneficial thing. Everyone feels included. No one's counted out, so that's dope. But it's starting to lose impact considering that is a 4 day event that costs $350. This is a commitment. Like you are spending the entire day for 4 days straight outside in the hot August summer. And you could be going and spending tons of money to actually go watch maybe two or three people you want. And I
Yeah.
think it's personally, and like, it's not so drastic what I'm saying, like, oh, they need to change this. It's just a thought that I had. It crossed my mind. And like, I honestly feel like if they could even break it down by days, like, let's say, and I understand this isn't a good business strategy. They're doing this so they can gain more money. Because if you want to see someone Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, you're going to buy Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's a business strategy. I get that. I'm in the school business. It's not that deep. But I personally would prefer they did like hip hop on one day, rap on one day, on not sorry, hip hop on one day, rock on one day, R&B on one day, in whatever category on one day.
Yeah. Wow, we are polar opposites.
Okay, let me hear your take.
Because here's the thing, I feel like the people who get hurt by doing that are the people who only want to see one type of artist. Because here's the thing, especially with the way Lala is laid out, you cannot see multiple artists at the same time. So like if you're seeing, and they haven't released the day by day breakdown, right? But the way it usually breaks down is that there's like, at the end of the day, there's one hip hop artist, one pop artist, one rock artist. And it's like divided by that, and also like dance music. That's the other big genre that's there.
Okay, right, Perry's.
Yeah, so that's it. That's it. So it's rock, hip hop, like dance, and pop, and like obviously other genres. Like there are even comedians who do like the early shows. But one, I would say if you're buying, I feel like it's people only buy 4 days the Lala, like either because of the experience outside of the music, which I think is most likely it, or because there is so many artists they want to see, right? I don't think anyone buys 4 days because they want to see three artists, right? So the other thing is I would absolutely hate if Lala did any kind of like refocusing, because Lala started as a hard rock festival and it is still ran by I forget his name, but he was the frontman of Jane's Addiction, which was a hard rock band in the 90s.
I think you told me about this.
So like this podcast does not benefit from that because it means that there is no festival that plays mainstream hip hop in Chicago. Because you have Riot Fest, which does have hip hop acts, like they have, I saw some of my favorite hip hop artists last year at Riot Fest, but they're very much punk focused in a way that Lala isn't rock, pop, or hip hop focused. Well, Pitchfork is you don't get mainstream artists.
No.
And Spring Awakening is all EDM. So I think if you like seeing hip hop artists at large festivals, like this is kind of the best way to go about it, because you're either going to completely lose out on it at Lala if they refocus, and if they put it all in one day, then it's not like, oh, I got to choose between Childish Gambino and Tame Impala. That was the issue I was at Lala, because it's like, oh, I want to see these two artists, but they're playing at the same time because they're different genres. Then it becomes like, oh, do I want to see J. Cole or Little Baby? And it's like, you want to see both. Like,
that is true.
Because like those two guys are not going to be at the same day. And they're not going to be at the same time.
And that's what I was going to say. In my ideal structure, and this is very loose, like it's not like it's that deep, but my ideal structure would be spreading out each genre by day, because that would allow you, if you are more interested in, of course, more than one genre, which most people are, you can handpick which days to go to. And I feel like the individual tickets actually add up to be more than the 4 day ticket.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Sold as a collaboration. So even as a business deal, because that's how I look at a lot of things, it would be much more profitable to spread out, let's say rock over one day. So you look at the headliners. You have Metallica, Green Day, and let's say Machine Gun Kelly. You want to throw in that category. I understand that they're headliners, so obviously the headliners play at 8 p.m. or whatever the last show is. You could easily spread this out over a day. In my previous experiences at Lala, I'm interested in multiple different genres, but even still, I spent most of the day standing around bored, hot, uncomfortable, surrounded by like a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I didn't spend that much time even being interested in other genres. I didn't spend that much time like actually at a stage listening to music.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. I mean, that's just the big music festival experience, right?
That's okay. That's another thing I was going to say because you brought up the experience part. I don't know if I've had the best experience at Lala.
See, I had a really wonderful time at Lala, but I went to one day, and I've only been to Lala. I'm basing my entire experience on Lala as like either
One experience, whatever.
well, like I would always hang out like outside, like if you hang out in like Grant Park, like behind Grant Park, because they only shut down like they shut down most of it for Lala, but not all of it. So like you can go behind it, and like I remember seeing the weekend at Lala one year, just by there was this bush that just wasn't there, and it was like you had this excellent view of the stage, and it was just like, oh, I can hear shit, I can see shit, I'm
This
outside,
works.
who cares? Like,
Right.
but yeah, I don't know, I think that's just the festival experience, right? They want to like every day is like organized from like top down, right? So
Hmm.
like, imagine you have J Cole, well, like Lil Baby or Doja Cat's not playing that same day. You'll have J Cole, and like before him you'll have YG. Before him, you'll have Corday. Before him, you'll have Denzel Curry. Before him, you'll have, all those people. And it like builds. So I think if you're someone, like, sure, like, it's probably more profitable to sell single day tickets, but Lala doesn't make their profit on tickets. They make it on the shit you buy at the festival.
Hmm.
So they I think that's why they're willing to sell 4 day tickets at a probably not at a loss, but like less than single days,
Right. It's
because
not
they
that much of a
know you're
loss.
going to be there all day buying food, buying drinks, buying merch,
I mean,
right?
either way,
But I
you're still
think
going to get the same population coming in. So I feel like it wouldn't be enough change between those, like, those channels of profit coming from, example, like you said, merch, food, whatever. Those numbers aren't going to change just because people are buying 1 day tickets versus the 4 day ticket.
I don't know. I think they kind of I think they do. But like if you're someone like me, for example, because like my take on the lineup is that it's very mid. I've seen worse lineups. I thought last year was a worse lineup, but I've also seen much better. And
And this
like,
is why I brought this whole conversation up because, and it's actually a question that I was going to ask ultimately.
yeah,
Every single year, everybody says this lineup is mid.
I think everyone's a lot harsher than that. Like, I think everyone will. I think the lineup is everyone says it's trash.
Well, even that
And
even
and
is further
first
into the
off,
point.
okay, I want you to remember something. Okay, Lala has one primary target, and it is
I know,
18 to 21-year-olds with rich parents. Like, that is their
I know.
primary target. And I feel like everyone fucking forgets that. Like, sometimes some of our friends, and I'm sure you know which ones I mean, like, they'll,
Yes.
they'll like, they'll be like, oh, it's going to be like multiple hip hop artists every night. I'm like, that's just not going to happen because that's not how they program it.
Right.
Right? Like, it's just not how it works. Like, that's why, like, when you have when I went, it was Childish Gambino and Tame Impala. Now I think those artists are kind of close and like a lot closer in fan base than usual. But like one time, it was the Black Keys and Ariana Grande, and those are two artists that probably don't have a whole lot of overlap, right?
Right.
So it's
Like I
like,
said, there's going to be nobody having a really hard decision on what they're
yeah,
going to
yeah.
go.
So that's usually the what they're trying to do. So I think I'm hostile to the idea of like siphoning all the dates, because like
Okay.
just because like if I'd rather miss one or two rock bands because I'm seeing hip hop artists throughout the day, or one or two hip hop artists because I'm seeing rock bands throughout the day, than have to choose between like the big artists that I want to see. Not that I'm ever gonna buy a 4-day ticket to Lala unless they have an incredible lineup. Which, look, they've had really good lineups before. Like I remember 2017 or 2018. 2018 had a really solid lineup.
I guess the question I would pose then, to get back to a lineup like 2018, what needs to change? Because the reason it seems like everybody is always like you said, this is trash, and this is what we heard every year. How do we fix that?
I 100% think the problem is just people not understanding like what they're talking about. Like, yeah, I think people are just. I don't I don't see how Lala fixes that. Like, I don't see how. One, I don't think Lala's gonna fix anything because I don't think Lala's in trouble.
There's nothing to fix, basically.
Especially after last year, because like last year was like this huge economic event for the city. It was post-COVID, and it was also like I'm as COVID skeptical, like I'm as COVID cautious as possible, right? But it is worth pointing out that there wasn't a surge last year during a pandemic during Lala, right? So it's coming off some huge successes. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think it's in a situation where it's going to change, right? It's the same reason Apple doesn't drastically change the iPhone, because why would they?
There's no reason to change.
And the other thing is that, yeah, I think it is pretty uniformly bad for us, for fans, if they were to be like, all the rock artists are one day, to organize it that way. And I think the reason why people are upset is because people forget that the genres they don't want to see have equal pull on the bill.
Yes.
People forget that, way to put it. Yeah, people forget that, Lala is going to, and also I think, especially people in our sphere, people forget Lala's origins. People forget that this is a old school rock show, and it has just evolved with the times.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if "forget" is the best word. They just don't know.
Yeah, people
they're just ignorant to the fact that technically it's a rock concert.
Yeah,
traditionally.
Yeah, there's a reason why Metallica's at the top of the bill. Which, by the way, are you going to this? Because I'm just going to go for one day for Metallica.
Oh, really? You already decided you're going to go?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go. I'm going to see the single day lineup, and if there is one other killer artist I really want to see that doesn't interfere with seeing Metallica, I'll probably just go see that, because Metallica is one of my favorite bands of all time. They just recently did a show at the Metro, which is right here. We walk past it every time we go to Cane's at my apartment. Mm-hmm. And I missed out on it. The line, I could literally see the line from my front door to get tickets.
Man, that is torture.
Yeah, so I want to make that up.
This is what I would say. If you do go, let me know. I would need to see the day.
Yeah.
Because depending on how the day lineup lines up throughout the day, I would see the not big names that are featured throughout the day. Because let's say, for example, Metallica's at the head and they're a headliner.
Yeah.
And then we go see Metallica together. Throughout the day, I would need to see Big Sean, Don Toliver, Denzel Curry.
But yeah, and those are great examples of how you got to look at it. Because if Don Toliver or Denzel Curry is on the same day as Metallica, done deal.
You've already decided.
Take my money. Yeah. But there's no way J. Cole plays before Metallica on the same day. You know what I mean?
Impossible. It's not going to be on the same day.
Or chances are Metallica is probably going to end Sunday and against Dua Lipa.
Yeah, those are the two biggest ones.
Yeah, or Green Day, but it's.
But then
I do think
between Green Day and Metallica.
I do think the second tier is actually a lot stronger than either one.
Referring to what, Doja Cat or something?
No. I mean, do you see how the top tier, the headliners?
Yeah.
And then
then the second tier.
Then it gets smaller, and then it gets smaller again.
Yes, I do see that now.
Yeah, but yeah, that's So those are my thoughts. I think it's pretty mid. I think people always call it trash because they forget. They either don't know or they forget one, that other genres exist, and two, that their genre is not the priority for this festival. I would love if we had a Rolling Loud here in Chicago, but we don't. We have Lala. So
Bro, we were just talking about this over the week, but if they had that like Coachella here,
yeah,
but not Coachella as a whole. That's too
Coachella's a lot closer to
but that
Lala
one
than Rolling
year,
Loud.
Jesus. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying, like the 1 year that we was talking about, the year that got canceled by COVID,
my
that
God.
was headlined by Rage Against the Machine, Travis Scott, and Frank Ocean.
Yeah, no, that's a 3 day.
We would both buy 3 day. Yeah, it wouldn't even.
I would sell a child into slavery to go to that concert.
Jesus Christ, we could have went anywhere. He chose the stupidest.
I'll also I don't know, eat a pizza with olives. I guess
Two very different ends of the spectrum.
They're both things I don't want to do.
Yeah, but they're two different extremes. Okay.
Okay.
We are just now arriving to the deep dive.
Okay. So, Purvis, tell the good folks what we're doing this week.
So, this week we will be discussing a deep dive on an album. We've been texting about this for a while, but after we do it, our big crit deep dive, we said we have to pick a handful of albums that we would find interesting to kind of talk about and to make them more worthy, I would say, and something of interest. It can't be like obvious albums. It has to be kind of like off albums that maybe didn't get as much attention, or maybe have a deeper meaning, or has played a bigger role in the person's career. But I digress. This week, I decided to talk about Oxnard by Anderson Paak.
Yeah. So, I think we just want to find like albums, pieces of work that just resonate with us, right?
Right.
Even if they're not necessarily something we'd call a classic. Like, spoiler alert, I don't know if I would call any of Anderson Paak's albums classics yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have a reason for that, and we can get to it.
I was going to say that was definitely going to be one of my questions further on.
Yeah.
But let's just start off with this album in particular. This is the one that we decided to kind of go into and listen to the most. What are your opinions? What's going on? Have you heard this album before this week?
Yes, I've heard this album. I remember it came out, and in 2018, it was my first introduction to Anderson Paak.
Ooh, okay.
Not necessarily. Like, I've seen, like, off songs, a few songs off Malibu. I remember really, really liking his freshman class freestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, like, he was with one of my least favorite people of all time. But right off the bat, like, this song is just perfect. It's... You know what's great about this album is that it is low-key and summery and chill without sacrificing any substance. Like, he's talking about real shit on every song, but it's just, it doesn't command your attention and your anger the way of, like, Pimp the Butterfly does.
Yes.
You know, there's a weird, X factor of, like, Anderson Paak is just, like, one of those artists that, like, every time he has music come out, I revisit now. I listen to that, and I also listen to I always go back and listen to more of them. But
stuff you enjoyed previously.
Yeah, like when Ventura came out, that was the first time I listened to Malibu.
Okay.
Yeah, so like whenever he drops something, like I'm always like I like it so much that I go back and I do some digging. But he's never someone who like sticks really hard in my rotation. You know, he's probably one of the artists I respect the most, but maybe not my favorite, like my personal favorite.
Yeah, I can definitely understand it, especially with the respect part that you said at the end. I was going to say he's one of the few artists that can do everything when when it comes to music necessarily. Like he knows all the instruments. When he makes the music, it's not really a question like, oh, who produced this? It's like, no, he can play.
Yeah, he does the whole
music.
thing.
He makes the music.
He's also like
that is extremely talented.
He's also like a studio drummer, which and it's
insane.
And it's interesting that like we talked about rock so much because like being a studio drummer is like one of the most demanding musical careers you can have. Right? It's not as creatively fulfilling as being like a performer, a writer, a rapper, whatever you have, whatever you call it. it is certainly like it's you got to be a metronome for someone else's art, and it is difficult, and he does it at such a high level.
Extremely high level.
Yeah, so he
This
is
man is really talented.
like I don't know of any. He just has like an understanding of music, and the thing that's interesting about music is that it is simultaneously like an art and a craft, right? So, and I know we're trying not to talk about him, but you have someone like Kanye who like sits, but like he sits at the keys and like he's able to like in like an artful, emotional way just pull emotion out of music. And then you have someone like Anderson Paak who is like a technician who can do all these different things at a high level, right? Like it was the thing that it was the thing that originally turned me off from metal, like when I was really really into heavy metal music as a teenager, because like eventually I felt like it was all just like people trying to play the guitar better and they don't care about the song. The thing that's great about Anderson Paak is that he has this high level of technical ability, and he still is able to find like that. He's still able to craft a song. Like he still knows like how to put in emotion.
He can do it all.
He can do it all. Right. He can.
He'll give you a 1-2 punch where he can satisfy both categories that you need.
And he's not the only one who can do this. Like, and just to reiterate, and he's not unique in the fact that he can, but he absolutely fucking can, and that's what makes his music like just so holistically incredible to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Oxnard is probably his best album.
I would definitely put it up there. It's either the second best or tied with the best. I like Malibu the most. I personally call Malibu a classic just because I was really into it when it came out. And I think Malibu has structurally some of his best music.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting that you actually brought up when you first started talking about it, To Pimp a Butterfly. I got a similar vibe where it's one of those albums that almost jumps past music. Like, obviously, it's still music. It's important about the music. That's why these people are artists. But there's also, like, it's very easy to jump into a deeper meaning where it kind of transitions to just the music. And that's how I was kind of looking at it. Where, like, Malibu, I was comparing more to Mad City, where I think it's a classic. And then this is a great way for the artist to branch out. How do they move past creating a classic? Do they stay up in their career? What can they do? Do they fall off? And I feel like he would be one of those people that was able to advance his career past a classic, which is very difficult because a lot of people would fall off because it's your best music that you can create.
Yeah.
And it allows them to open up new avenues where it becomes more than music.
I mean, that's definitely an interesting point. And especially having gone back and listened to Malibu a few times over the last few years, like I really wish I would have been about it at the time. But like 2016 was so flooded, and like I also was not
so much.
Yeah, there was so much in 2016, and like I also was not. That was like when I first started to get back into music after a few years of not really listening to it as much. Mm-hmm. But you know, I totally agree that I totally get that Malibu. A lot of people think that's his best album. I just think, you know, the production on this is just so consistent. And like some of the highlights on this are pretty high. Right?
So like, we did that with the last album, so we should probably do that with this.
Yeah. So like what are your favorite songs from the album?
Tint stands out to me featuring Kendrick Lamar.
That's like the easy one.
Obvious reasons.
That's like the easy one.
That's what I said. Like,
but it's so good. Is there a better Driving with the Windows Down song than Tints, which is ironically about driving with the windows up?
Shut up. Okay. Yes, you're not wrong, and it's something. I can't believe you just brought that up. I didn't even think about that. Jesus Christ. Moving on. 6 Summers. So good.
That's my favorite song.
I was actually thinking. I feel like we may have actually talked about this when it first came out, very, very briefly.
Yeah,
I remember
we definitely
both testing like 6 Summers, and we was like really into this album.
Yeah, no, we definitely did. This came out in 2018. 2018 was another really, really busy year. Because, like,
true.
And the only reason, I do think, like, the reason why, I didn't, maybe it's just every time, like Anderson Paak releases something, it's just there's so much more. Like there's so much else that's coming out, right? Because like 2018 we had Pusha T, Ye, Kids See Ghost, which was the thing that dominated my 2018. You had Astro World. You had what was the other one? Iridescence, which also had the whole lead-in with the whole Amir Van and like the singles thing. So like that, like the run up to Iridescence, like was kind of the thing that defines 2018 for me, despite it not being my favorite album. And listen to all the shit I just said.
It was a lot.
But just like
but guess what? Guess who won Grammys that year?
Who won Grammys that year?
Cardi B with Invasion of Privacy.
Well, it's not Macklemore. Am I right? Like that's my official opinion. Like it's not as bad as Macklemore.
Man. Yeah. Scorpion came out. You love Scorpion.
I do like Scorpion. That's another one.
Didn't you make like a whole playlist off of that?
Okay, so my thing is
KOD. I'm sorry.
There's
KOD. A lot
more
that we did not mention.
Yeah,
Swimming came out.
Yeah,
like
Scorpion.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
Care for Me by Saba.
Yeah.
Carter 5. Taboo. Denzel Curry. It's a lot.
Yeah, a lot. So point being, I remember like this album came out and it made such a splash, especially with the people I hang out with, that I had to listen to it. But it's almost special in that way because every time I listen to it, even though I know most of the songs, it feels fresh. Because that's one thing. I'll put on Kids See Ghosts sometimes, and it's like, I've heard this a million times, right? It's boring now. And then you go like 6 months without hearing it, and it's completely new again. But like, I think that's something that is like a special connection I have with this album, and I think Anderson Paak as a whole is that, I tend to enjoy it and then come back to it periodically, and that lets me just like, it keeps it fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
Now, do you have like a worse song? Because like my best song is Six Summers. I love Tints, great song, but Six Summers is like
Tints. Trippy is really good. Left to Right is really good.
Wow, you said Trippy?
I did like Trippy. I like Trippy a lot.
Okay, because like I question if there's any like real bad songs on this album, right? Even though I do think the back half is a little bit more boring than the first half, if I'm being completely real.
Yeah.
I thought Trippy was disappointing. I wouldn't call it bad. I don't think it's a bad song by any stretch. But I was like, oh shit, dude, J. Cole, hell yeah, because I love J. Cole. And
yes.
It's like, it is not. I genuinely believe that if you put them in a room, you put two artists of that caliber in a room, 9 times out of 10 they're going to make music better than that. That's just my thought.
No, you are correct. 100%. I'm in the same boat. I will say, considering that those are the two artists, you would think it's going to be a banger.
Yeah, exactly. Because like he has Kendrick and J. Cole on the album.
Yeah, your expectations definitely were too high, but I wouldn't say too high. They were where it's supposed to be, and it just didn't fulfill. You're right.
Yeah, and like it's not. Once again, I don't think it's bad by any stretch. I just think it's a little disappointing. That's all. And but left or right is a very, very strong ending. I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I think as far as like an ending comes, like I think those last 2 tracks are both like steps up. But I think like from Six Summers and then until those last 2 tracks, I think is a bit of a lull. I think it goes from great, bordering on masterful, to like very good, which is like like. Yeah,
you
artist,
can't really complain with that.
Yeah. Like any artist would kill to have as Let me pull up some examples because I have the album pulled up. Hold up, 1 second. Like sure, perfect example. Any artist would kill to have like a song as good as like Smile Petty or Brother's Keeper, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that those songs are noticeably weaker than like Tits or Six Summers or Who Are You?
Yes.
Also, the first song was like, and every time I listen to the album, this is something that I remember. The first song, not the best, not the best opener.
It's not the best opener.
The second song, really good.
It could turn off a lot of people.
Really good.
Like you said, second song is Probably it contains some of my favorite parts
Yeah,
of a
Head Love.
song.
Yeah, Head Love's
Yes,
great. Like so, and
bro.
then Tits, right? So much good music, but like I do think like it's not watertight. Like it's not beyond criticism.
Yes, it is. It's interesting because you said the worst song, and it is very difficult. I don't know if I could say it's the worst song. It is songs that stand out that aren't like 10 out of 10s, obviously. But like
Yeah,
even still, there's a lot of very unique things in this album. Like there's skits within songs,
yeah.
and that to me is super super dope. Where it creates more of a almost like a movie. When I listen to it, I feel like I'm in a movie. I feel like I'm in some kind of like LA
It's a
cop
very
movie almost.
yeah. No, it's very much like Sunset in Compton, like right
Yes.
there. Yeah, and like in that way, it reminds me of Mad City.
Yeah, and that's
Because like,
exactly what I
because
was
like
saying.
Mad City, like yeah, like Mad City was a very cinematic album, and this
You feel
is
like you can see
this
it,
and Ventura are like very cinematic. Even though I
bro.
think Malibu is better than Ventura. Like
Yeah, and I was gonna say there's parts in this where like the end of Headlow, which is why I was thinking about this. We were talking
uh,
about Headlow, the end of Headlow, and it creates a scene like oh, like he's rapping, he's getting head in the car, he crashes the car while getting head, and like the people that's like he crashed into is like screaming and like yelling at him, and he was like, no, no, don't stop, like I'm close, like I don't care, and it's like it creates that movie. Like it's a very simple imagery, but like that goes a long way with the music.
yeah, no, absolutely. I think what becomes interesting now is because there are two words that I don't see anywhere in our write up about this album, and that is
Okay,
Silk and Sonic. Because it's
we
kind of
did not
yeah,
discuss that.
because it's kind of hard to talk about the future of Anderson Paak without talking about that.
Okay, can you kind of break down?
Well, okay, so anyone who doesn't know, Silk Sonic was a collab album done between Anderson Paak and Bruno Mars, and it is it is a lot less hip hoppy. It is very much like an R&B throwback, old school soul, and I thought the album was incredible. I love Silk Sonic, that album, and then this year we covered it on the show. They dropped a new song, which wasn't
Mhm.
on the album, which I think is a pretty heavy implication that there's more of that coming.
Which is exciting.
Yeah. Unlike an Earth Gang or Run the Jewels, where like these are artists that can survive on their own, have survived on their own, but they're in a group right now. And we don't know when they're in a group, like how long this is going to last. I think it's pretty
Hmm.
obvious that Silk Sonic like is going to be something they do as well as put out their solo work because I think Bruno Mars has been putting out
Yes,
solo songs. And
which I think is better for each of their
oh
careers.
yeah, 100%. Because like Silk Sonic is like such a different, like it's such a different muscle being stretched. Because it allows Anderson to be much more musical, which
Yes.
is something a muscle I love seeing him flex. I love that Silk Sonic album. Probably not as much as actually no, I think I like it more than his solo work.
All of it solo work or just some?
I mean, it's hard to say.
Hmm.
Maybe after, because I gotta say, like it is kind of crazy because title tracks we listen to day to day basis, right? So every day I get updates on like who my most streamed artists of the months are, and like in the last 3 days since we've talked about Anderson Paak, he went from not in the top 20 to 5. So yeah,
Sheesh. Yeah,
so
I
like
get that.
I as I go, I'm definitely going to be listening to a lot of his music now, and maybe that will change. But as of right now, I think Silk Sonic is probably my favorite of his projects. It's not the only
I
one
have.
I've liked, and it's not the only one I've liked that much, but it's probably my favorite.
I still have to listen to it. Unfortunately, I know I've been dragging, but
Boo! Everyone pelt him with paper.
I know.
Throw
I'm sorry.
tomatoes at him.
I am very excited to listen to it. I'll say that. I know it's very different genre of music because, like, with all his previous stuff, his solo albums, like, they have a reoccurring theme. There's a
Yeah,
whole like,
they're all
obviously, they're all named after
cities
cities
in
in
California.
California,
Yeah,
right? So I am very excited about his solo work, but I would be interested to kind of see how he dives and works into other people.
yeah,
The
me too.
perfect person, by the way.
Yeah, no, he picked
Like, what better person to partner with
he
than Bruno
picked
Mars?
he picked the best collab, and it's a collab type that normally doesn't work very well. right? Like usually if you want a collab to like really really pop, you want people who are different. I think that's why Drake and Future work really well. I think that's why Run the Jewels works really well. But these guys, they're both super musical. They're both super into that. I think, despite being in different genres, I think they are very similar artists and they have very similar vibes.
Mhm.
And I think they just pop off like incredibly well.
But
But yeah, so
oh,
on the Untitled, they have the master quality tracks, and a
yes.
lot of Anderson stuff is on it. And I tell you, like you could really hear like how much music is like in it, like how many different recordings. It sounds. The thing I like the most about Anderson Paak is how real his music feels. Right, as cool as synths are, as cool as samples are, nothing beats just a dude on the drums. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I gotta
I
ask,
totally agree.
what is your biggest argument for making Malibu a classic?
I personally think Malibu is a classic. Breaking down the actual album itself, for me, it contains a lot of like the key things that comes with a classic. I mean, obviously, each song is a hit, but for me, when I think of like a classic, it contains a lot of the artist's best songs, which I feel like this contains a lot of the peak songs that he's had in his career. I feel like structurally, it is the like ideal length. It's the topic and the subject is really good, and it has a deeper meaning in general. I would say the overall length thing, like always with him, you get that summary feel and that great kind of movie feel, almost like you're
Yeah,
in a like movie. But
it's
like I feel like
it's a sense of place.
yes, I feel like it was his first time doing it very successfully that a lot of people could not do. And whenever I hear people mostly talking about Anderson Paak, Malibu typically comes up more common in social media, I would say. So I feel like this is what also put him on the map. And there's like a lot of structurally things, like I said, how I look at music. I've kind of discussed it before, but I kind of break down how it all puts it together. Like I love interludes. I love to look at features. I think it has a perfect balance between features and individual songs. It has skits included in it that are both surface level, like simple hip hop flex stuff, but also includes like deeper, meaningful stuff. There's some
Yeah,
political stuff in here, some more meaningful, like life balance type of stuff in here.
I
There's go ahead.
no keep going on what you're doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say like another thing for me. Like I love songs that include two songs. For example, like either it's a transition or like you literally have two songs put into one because it's like a part A, part B.
Yeah,
And like the song "The Seasons" and "Carry Me," like I love that kind of stuff. Like that kind of stuff I notice all the time. And every single Tyler the Creator album, the 10th song is always two songs put together. He's always done that throughout his career, and that's the first thing that like I would notice. I always look for that,
yeah,
and so stuff like that is just phenomenal to me.
yeah, yeah. No,
But your
I
thoughts?
well, my thought was just something that as I was looking through his like streaming page, it was a single that popped up, and I'm like, oh my god, this is my favorite Anderson Paak song. It's I
Yep.
to my recollection, it's never been on an album. It and I remember it coming out and being like, oh my god, this is what I want him to do. And what's
Which one's that?
it's it's Lockdown.
Okay.
It was the protest song he came out with in the summer of 2020 in
But
response to
yeah,
the
it came from the
riots.
video.
Yeah, it came in a
There's a video with it.
video and everything, and it was like hard. It was like him like really
Oh,
going.
you and your politics.
Yeah, I know, but the dude did it really fucking well, and
He
like,
did.
and what's funny is like the project he would go on to do after that is Silk Sonic, and the opposite of what that was like. And I also really quite liked it, but I remember when that came out. That was like a flashpoint for me in Anderson Paak. Like,
Oh man, I'm picturing the music video now.
yeah,
That's a really good song. That was a good song.
yeah, and it was just. It's another example. It's something calling back to last week's episode. Like, just right song, right moment, right artist.
And this came out in 2020.
Yeah,
Man. Yeah, this literally would have been perfect last week.
yeah. Well, we were talking about albums, so I can see why we
That is true. That is
oversaw
true.
it. So, like, yeah, I mean, I think if we're talking about Anderson Paak's, not that we were, But like as we talk about Anderson Paak's future, especially as a solo artist, that's kind of more of a vibe I'd like to see. Especially because like gangster rap was born in California. There's no reason he can't go in that direction without keeping every part of his albums that we like.
I'm interested to see, at least in terms of that subject, how involved he might be. Because obviously, like, there's certain artists that are more involved with,
Than others.
Yeah, right,
yeah,
that kind of topic. But
yeah,
I don't know his history with that,
and especially like in 2020, 2021. Like, I mean, it kind of reminds me of the Kendrick feature on that Baby Keem song where he's like, I've been ducking the overnight activist, the people who become activists when it's convenient. Although that is, and that's a vibe I get from a lot of artists, but not Anderson Paak. I gotta keep it real. Besides, like 6 Summers. Like 6 Summers is a very political song.
It is.
Yeah. Which you just said you loved, so don't shame me.
Yeah.
Don't shame me for being a dirty politics person.
You just know I am on the opposite spectrum.
I am obsessed.
And we respect each other for that.
Yeah. I envy you. I wish I could undo it. Knowledge is a prison. Like,
dude, when you grow up a young black male who doesn't believe in the government anyway, you kind of stop caring.
Hey.
Well, I will not. That's not the right word.
The government not welcome in here. If you are a federal agent listening to this podcast,
Brandon,
my name is Andrew Stewart. And
Jesus Christ.
And do not ask me where I was during the Chicago riots. God
damn. Okay.
Do we want to do recommendations?
Should we close this out? We were just putting it back together.
We pulled it back together to give a solid half hour on Oxnard.
Really, all we could respect.
Yeah. Given the circumstances we're in. All right, let's
you go first, because all of my music has been filled with Anderson Paak recently.
Yeah, me too. I was like, should I recommend an Anderson Paak song?
No, don't do it.
Okay, no, I'm gonna actually list one. It's one that I cannot believe we left off one of our playlists. Our women's playlist, because like it's an artist we mentioned, it's an artist who's on the playlist, and it is one of their hardest songs, and we left it off. And
which one?
I listened to it, and now I can't stop listening to it. Formation by Beyonce.
Oh yeah.
That song goes fucking hard.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, remember I texted you. I was like, you know what, Rihanna and Beyonce, we could honestly put like 20 songs.
Yeah, it's facts, 100% facts. But like, that's her best song. Like, come on, like
it's so good.
It's so good. So yeah,
and it's crazy to say like that's her best song, and she has so many best songs.
So many good songs. Lemonade as itself is like an extremely good album. It's gonna be an album we do a deep dive on eventually. Okay, you go.
Actually, I do have a couple of songs I've been saving. Not even towards the same route at all, because this person is not Beyonce or even worthy of the mention. This is a person, 24K Gold. He has a song in like 2K17 that I heard recently called Games on Your Phone.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Actually, really, it's a vibe.
I've heard that song. It's an okay song.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
Yeah, no, it's a fun song.
The intro's hard.
Okay. I'm not going to lie to you. My next song,
okay.
I almost sent it to you to have you listen to it so you wouldn't flame me for recommending it on the podcast.
Okay.
It's Reagan by Killer Mike.
Okay.
It's a song about Ronald Reagan. It's just a 2-minute history lesson on a incredible beat. And
I hate you.
I just went back into Killer Mike's solo work. Because like when we were talking about albums we wanted to do, rap music by him, the album this is on, is like one of my favorite all-time albums. And I went back and I listened to this song, and it's just like, god damn, it just builds so well. There's no choruses. It's like 2 verses that just build. It builds to like the ultimate climax of like, I'm dropping off the grid before they pump the lead. I'll leave you with 4 words. I'm glad Reagan's dead. And it's just like, and like I know if you listen to the song, you would not
Okay.
have this reaction. Like,
Obviously, from what you're saying, I don't know if I'm gonna go and listen to it
yeah, you might get put on a list, but I've been on that list since
for years.
since Killer Mike
So
was
known
doing
you.
features with Outkast.
Well, I do have a second song, but I'm just gonna throw in my third song now, since you mentioned letting the beat build from this from this Ronald Reagan song. The actual song "Let the Beat Build" by Lil Wayne, it goes hard.
Oh
Like
yeah,
the way he
remind
introduces all
me.
the
Remind me
goes
what
hard.
song that's what. Remind me what albums that's from.
That is from the Carter Three.
Yep, that's what I thought. Dude, Carter 3 is
Yeah,
just
Jesus.
such an obviously great album.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like the chorus, the lyrics, the actual beat building. Stop playing.
Oh my god. Yeah. The song isn't coming to me right now, but I've listened to the Carter 3 front to back so many times. There's no way I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, last song. It's a song I mentioned to you. It's a song I brought up recently. It's not the greatest song in the world, but it's fucking catchy, and it's Acting Crazy by Action Bronson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude.
That song is hype.
That song's so good.
That song's good.
Dude, that song is
That song's so good.
dude, this entire week, I'm just like someone will be looking at me in the office, and I'll be like, why do you think I'm out here acting crazy?
When you texted to me, I did have to go look it up. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, yeah, I know the song.
Yeah.
The song's good.
Yeah. The video's incredible.
Oh, I didn't know there's a video.
Oh, my God.
Watch the video.
You haven't watched the video? You
I
gotta
don't
watch
think
the
so,
video
maybe?
at the second. I'm not. We're gonna end the podcast, but I'm not hanging up Discord till you start the video.
Okay. We're going to discuss this after.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me just close it out then.
All right, close it out.
My last song, and this actually is a song that I actually love a lot. This did come up when I was listening to Chance earlier this week, but All My Friends by Snake Hips featuring Chance. Jesus, this song is really, really good. It's a nice, like, party song. It's almost like a house party or like a friendly basement social kind of party. Like, it's kind of song that's really, really good. It's really good.
All right. You guys send that to me. Send that to me right when we're done. I want to listen to that.
I got you.
All right. I think there's been enough of sanity. I think we could just do a nice, calm.
Yeah, just
all right.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Good night,
love you.
Good night, everybody. Don't do drugs or do. I don't care. Bye.
Jesus Christ.